Welcome to episode 157 of Outside the Circle, a podcast dedicated to new and upcoming country artists, musicians, and songwriters. Today's guests will be Joshua Gale and Sean Monahan of Gale Bird. We'll get to them in a little bit, but first, I'm Ronnie. Here's Brian.
What's happening, man? Yeah, we are this is one of my most favorite interviews that we're going to get into. But we'll get to that soon. Yeah, no, the we had our family Christmas, so my wife going into her third trimester, we thought it'd be wise not to be traveling up to the Great White North there, and they already have like a lot of snow.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like, yeah, we're not going to go traveling up there and risk anything. So it was cool though. All my brothers came down, my folks came down, and we did a little family Christmas Saturday morning. And yeah, that was wild. It was wild to see these kids. They're getting older, and it's fun because it's just wild. It's just like next year. I think we're gonna try to find a way to organize it, like have like the one person be the Santa, quote unquote, to like do the
Yeah.
delivery because it was just kind of like presents everywhere, which turned to like wrapping paper everywhere, like thrown in the air. And yeah, I mean, it was fun and everything, but it lasted like 45 seconds. We'll find a way
Yeah.
to make that savor that a little bit longer.
Yeah. That chaos, that mayhem. So is that two, three, four, five, soon to be six plus kids in one mode of presence and yeah, I'm sure that was quite fun. I didn't realize your folks were down too. I knew your brothers and them were, but no, that's awesome that they got to come down and be a part of that too. And especially they're up there, you're down here, so for them to all be able to come down at the same time is that's important. It's good. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it was super special, and we definitely enjoyed having him down. And it was cool because Sunday was my dad's birthday, and so he had found himself one of his a favorite Jersey diner down here by me, and so we treated him to breakfast before they all drove up, and he loved it anyways. So
Yeah. I was thinking about it. You went to Town and Country, right? Is that the one Town and Country over in, was it Burlington, Bordentown? And so there's a Town and Country on this side over in the Keyport area. And growing up, we used to call it Town and Crusty. I wonder if Bordentown's a little nicer of a city compared to Keyport. So I'm sure it didn't come with such names. But when you said the name of it the other day, I was laughing that it brought me back some memories of many evenings in town and crusty.
no, I mean I like this diner too. It's my dad is not a small man by any means, and so he definitely loves the serving size at this place.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's the charm of Jersey diners, and they're far and few between now, and losing the battle every day to big corporations and Wawas and all those
Yeah.
things. So any of them that can hang on is a good thing.
Yeah, well, that's another thing, man. My folk, they don't have Wawas up there, and my brothers, both of them are like, they got down here early. They're like, we're gonna hit up Wawas for dinner, and I'm like, you guys know there's a quick check. They're like, we know what Wawa has. That's where we're going. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for anybody that doesn't know, and not in the Northeast, New Jersey, Philly area, or even Florida at this point, they're starting to pop up down there. Wawa is a convenience store, a gas station with a convenience store. Quick checks are pretty popular in other areas, so maybe, related to a quick check or a Sheets or I'm trying to even think of anything like that, like I don't even know what's in the South in that category. But Wawa is known more for like their hoagies and cold cuts and the quote unquote healthier options compared to like Sheets, which is all fried food. But yeah, Wawa it's a way of life in New Jersey, so they need it when they come down.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so they got their fill, and it was real fun. It was great to see all the cousins together, all the kids and stuff, and watch them, enjoy the season. And so it was great. It really was fun.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. And yeah, like I say, what, few months, so next Christmas, a few months away into next Christmas, you're gonna be adding some more to the mix. So um, yeah.
Yeah, no, man, it's great. How was yours?
Everything's been good over here. Post Thanksgiving, we've just been hitting the ground running, getting ready for the baby too. We're, I mean, at this point, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, something like that. The first week of January here. So, um, yeah, we're I don't know, we're in crunch mode now. I don't know if it's fully. I still don't think it's fully hit yet, but we're uh, we're in crunch mode. The clothes have been hung, the crib has been built, and now we're just waiting.
Wait. Yeah, it's a waiting game. Hurry up and wait. And then it's like, oh shit, I gotta catch up.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel that way. I feel like there's not gonna be that moment of ready. Like you said, like right now, it's like, all right, like just kind of count down the time. Okay. And then as soon as she's born and going forward, it's going to be chasing. It's waiting for the arrival, then chasing after.
Yeah.
There, there's no, oh, this is easy. I got this.
No, there's no coast mode anymore.
Yeah. Um, but kind of in the same vein as, talking about kids and the holidays coming up, this interview with Josh and Sean, um, you mentioned it off the hop, kind of one of your more favorite interviews, and we talk music. Obviously, that's what we're here for. But this definitely takes the cake for our longest interview and our, we jokingly, to give you an idea before going into it, we both said as we got ready to hit record for this that we we both don't have any notes written from the actual interview because of how like engaging and it was such a good talk. And there's you hear, they go into why they write the music they write, and the type of songs and the content of songs, and you could totally tell why they do what they do, and why it's important to them. And yeah, it was a heck of an interview. And Melissa, the third member of Gale Bird, she was unfortunately not available, so it was just Josh and Sean. But yeah, no, it was a great interview, and yeah, it was, I can't even say anything. It was so good.
Yeah, no, I know, and you know, not to spoil anything else, but we might as well just get to it.
All right, everyone. We're here today with Josh and Sean, two-thirds of Gale Bird. Welcome to Outside the Circle, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, yeah, we're excited. We it's far and few between that we actually get to talk to groups, or just duos, trios, groups in general. So it's always a fun dynamic for us to kind of hear the kind of ping ponging back and forth on the creative process and all that. So definitely excited to jump into that. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the music, we always like to kind of just start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, and like where you grew up, how important music was in your household, kind of things like that.
Well, my name is Sean. I grew up playing music, and I was taught piano at a young age, studied music in college. It's kind of always been a huge part of my life. And I had the privilege in college of meeting this guy, Joshua. And we just struck a friendship really quickly, and started playing some stuff and started writing. And we both had, we can talk about influences, but we both had a lot of varying influences. I was doing a lot of producer work, and so a lot of all over the place genres. He had some great old Southern rock, some country, some classic rock, some great stuff he was bringing to the table, and great songwriter. And so we started playing in college, and short stories. We just ended up getting married and having kids, and put everything on pause. So about 12 years later, we he messaged me, and he's interested in getting it back together, getting it rolling. So we got together. We got in the studio, started tracking some stuff, caught the attention of a local label, and it's just been kind of fireworks ever since. It's been awesome, getting to work with him, and then his wife Melissa is the other third of the band. So we've been going at this now for a couple years, and it's just been incredible.
Ronnie, you look like you're trying not to laugh. If you're like listening, Sean and I, um, great friendship. And yes, no, talking about getting the band back together. And no, it was in college. Man, I just wanted to figure out how to put a band together to put on like a great rock show. Like I just had this itch to like have like to really put on a performance that was just incredible. And there was I couldn't there was nothing I could do to like get rid of the itch that was like put a band together, put on a rock show. Um, and if you talk to anybody in Charleston where we're at and you wanted the greatest guitarist in your band, it was going to be Sean Monahan. Nobody disagreed with that. Nobody, would argue or try to compete. The dude's just, you know, is not just a guitarist, but a musician. All over, you listen to any of our music, everything that's tracked is Sean. And he's just all over the place. I gave him a banjo. I said, I want banjo in this one. He's like, all right, give me a couple weeks. We got banjo. I give him another instrument, mandolin. It'll give me a couple weeks. We got mandolin now. We get, all the different things and slide guitar, just all the different things. He's not afraid of any instrument. Um, and it's just an incredible musician. And so I saw this dude and I'm like, hey, like what do we got to do to play together, play music together, write music together? But we also got along really well as friends. And that friendship just never died. Of course, the busyness of life, you guys get it. Children trying to dominate everything, marriage, family responsibilities, paying bills, all those things. But again, that itch wouldn't go away. And so hit up Sean again, and there we were jumping back to it. And it's just we got the attention of a label, and the rest is history. So yeah.
No, I mean we definitely all get it here. The family, the thank God for Zoom, or else we wouldn't have this podcast, man. 'Cause it would be really difficult. But no, that's awesome. And Sean, I mean, I guess you and Josh definitely get along because someone of your caliber with that type of musicianship really probably pisses off a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. You said, you asked the anybody around town who the best guitarist is, and they would point to Sean. Brian and I have a similar-ish come together in our friendship. Granted, it was over Craigslist and him looking for a band and me
Nice.
looking to do something. Unfortunately, though, on Brian's behalf, when he was looking for a bass player, he was not getting the best thing in town. So, I think you won the lottery there.
Yeah, that's hilarious. No, it's special, but and the kids get to witness it all. That's what's really, really,
Mm.
really cool. So
Yeah, it's like one
yeah,
of
but when he does mess up, the rest of the band does chant
the,
They do take
one
advantage of those. Yeah.
one of us. So we seize those opportunities when they rarely do happen, and makes us all feel a little bit better about ourselves.
good, good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would, just kind of going back to the life getting in the way and, kind of finding your way back to music. I think, and like you just said, Josh, with, the kids getting to see it now, I think that's such a cool thing that, the things that we all grew up doing is, now we could pass that on and show that part of our life and the excitements and the things that bring us joy. And, I don't know ages in your scenarios, but I'd imagine getting to those ages where they really start catching on and understanding that it is a cool thing that you guys get to do together as friends and
Yeah.
lifelong friends, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's so
friendship
fun.
super important. I was telling Sean the other day, we almost didn't get Star Wars because of without Steven Spielberg, George Lucas would not have made Star Wars. He was a great friend. They met in film school, and Steven said, I'll give you 15% of Indiana Jones if you give me, 15. It was like 5 or 15 of Star Wars. Star Wars every Universal, every big studios thought it was going to flop. It was the most terrible idea in the world. Who made out better in that deal? Uh, Steven Spielberg made out better in that deal,
Yeah.
but it was a friendship, but it wasn't guaranteed at all. He never knew that. He never promised 15% of anything because he was just a friend that said, "Hey, I don't want you to quit. I believe in you as much as you believe in you." And when you have a friendship like that and you're 37 years old and you're like, are we stupid or like, are we like, is this, can we really do this? But it takes a friendship like that. Now, obviously, to write music, it can't be anybody but you to say, like, no, I would write music if nobody ever heard it, but to try to do something, to put a band together, to tour, to perform, to have a label, to have responsibilities around that, you have to have a friendship, somebody saying, dude, let's try to champion this together. And thank God we had Steven Spielberg to give us Star Wars, and thankfully I had Sean to answer the phone and say, let's freaking do it, dude. And so here we are.
Yeah. So a question that I always ask, and I'm going to kind of reword it a little differently here. Um, so we always like to know when that like aha moment, like the light bulb goes off, like, yes, this is what I'm going to do. Clearly playing music at an earlier age and then, kind of putting it on pause, I guess in the recent years, what was that, or couple of events that led to the decision of like, yeah, you know what, like we really need to get back to this, like that this is what we should be doing.
I think for me, I don't know what all inspired Josh at the time to get going, but when he called me, I was at the point of, I was kind of in a rough work situation and I was already considering freelance, and it was music related job, but I was looking at going out on my own, just kind of set my own pace, my own vision. And so him contacting me couldn't have been at a better time because I already had all this going in my head. It's like, what could this look like? If I didn't have the stability of this salaried job, what all could I be doing? And so for this to be part of it, that just felt so cool timing wise. And then all of a sudden, then we're in the studio, and then we catching the attention of some people. And when we got signed with the label, I think for me, that was the biggest like uh, affirmation of like, okay, you know, this was a great decision, and definitely haven't regretted it. That was the big one for me.
Yeah, for me, I think I've got that dog that's like, tell me I can't. Had enough people try to tell me I can't, so many times. And no, just looking at life, we're not here very long. Like what a tragedy if it was like a 9 to 5 was it.
Right.
Plenty of people have championed the 9 to 5. I worked with a billionaire named Bob Chapman. The dude would give everything if he could help some of his, friends or anybody he knew that struggled with alcoholism or whatever it may be because they drove themselves into a hole, like I don't want to drive myself into a hole doing the grind of 9 to 5 and then like missing out on the most incredible things of life, which is music and traveling and seeing the world, all these different things. And I didn't want to have any regrets when it came to any of this kind of stuff. And if I had a gift that people kind of enjoyed a little bit, then man, let me just try to run with it and be crazy enough to think it could actually do something. So my wife was supportive, of chasing that dream. And of course, as long as all the bills got paid and everything like that, which, we do get creative still doing that. Nobody makes money in music until you blow up, and so we get creative, we get all the bills paid, we, do what our responsibilities, but also, hold on to the vision that this can be something. So.
Yeah, that's I really like that mindset that I was literally having this conversation about 2, 3 days ago about 9 to 5s and how like yeah, there's jobs out there that are great. There's jobs out there that people really love and enjoy. And me personally, I actually really do love my job. But this can't be it, right? Like there's got to be more to it. And I mean, based on that, I have 1 3-year-old and I'm about to have a second one in January here. So like now I'm like really thinking about this. Wait, like I want them to grow up and know that they can go chase things and go like they don't have to do the the follow the I don't want to say follow the rules, but like, the follow the footpath of everybody else. And so yeah, I really like that yeah, it was just this is it. Like I gotta go do this. And
Mm.
yeah, no, I dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to jump into like the songwriting side of things, especially, being a trio and all of that. But so Melissa, who's not on the call with us, so what what was like her involvement coming into this? You guys being lifelong friends, and then obviously, her being around, and how she kind of molded into this and essentially became what you are today.
Yeah. I mean, the picture of us as a trio, the live performance is the full band. It is 8 or 9 people just putting on a rock show that's like, okay, hold up. I didn't know country could hit this hard. I didn't know there was this many guitar solos and organ runs and bass walks and the drummer has got long hair and he is like a Energizer bunny and the guy playing rhythm guitar in the back's doing some wicked stuff and but it's like we're trying to figure out how many moments we can fit in. And, we'll go from opening the show 100 miles an hour to then all of a sudden, a couple songs later, we've got you with some 3-part harmonies that make you kind of just halfway stop drinking your drink and be like, whoa, this hits like in a different way than that hit, but it still hits real. You're like, it feels really good. People will never remember the set list. They won't remember the things you said. They'll remember how they felt and they'll leave the
Yeah.
show. They'll buy the t-shirt because they felt something. The t-shirt's like a gratuity of like, man, you guys freaking did something inside of me that I hadn't felt in a minute, or my wife and I are feeling all sorts of something, like of like wanting to be nicer to each other, something because we talk about marriage a good bit. There's plenty of country songs about leaving, drinking, partying, trucks, all the things that we grew up listening to, but I wanted to try to challenge Sean and I when we get in the writing room. It's like, okay, how do we stay? How do we say sorry faster? How do we commit ourselves like to being the best husband, the best man, the best dad, the best whatever in a song that is going to inspire like every other guy out there to say like, dude, step it up. Like it ain't as bad as you think it is. Like everyone always thinks it's like terrible and like horrible or whatever. It's never as bad as you think it is, and it's so easy to get out of that hole. But somebody's got to kind of show you like the way out of the hole. And marriage is, and Sean will tell you, we're at the gym every morning lifting weights, talking about like, okay, dude, what is your perspective on this? How am I in the wrong? Like, how do I, whatever? And Sean is the friend that tells you how it is. Like, what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. What you want to hear is like, man, screw them. But what Sean says is like, man, maybe we should pray that like, they see XYZ or whatever. Like it's the most encouraging thing when a friend is like, no, I'm not gonna let you like sit in your crap. Like, let's just try to have a good perspective on how we can get out of this hole and whatever it may be. Marriage is ridiculously hard, and if I'm honest, like I didn't have a good blueprint for it either. Like growing up, it was
Yeah.
it was a crap show, and you know, for just being honest, yeah, my parents don't listen to podcasts anyway, so I don't care. They've actually never been to a performance either. But and I'm not hating. They got their own stuff, right? And but dad was an alcoholic. Mom was kind of destroyed in the process, trying to manage her emotions, all these different things. Trying to bring that same like a lack of awareness into my own marriage and then like trying to figure stuff out. Like you don't realize how much you bring into your own marriage and trying to figure it out, shooting from the hip. Like we write songs about that. Like, hey baby, I'll keep trying, but like just give me some grace. Like this is brand new. Like there's no like good blueprint for how to do this right, especially 2025. Really, we live in like the weirdest times ever, like devices, phones, like the new man cave. Our grandparents would hid behind a newspaper every morning. Like, don't talk to them, they were behind a newspaper. We're behind a cell phone. It just changed from a newspaper to a cell phone, but and everything in between. we're just trying to figure out how do we write that stuff that when our kids listen to it one day, whether nothing ever happens, our kids listen to it and they're inspired to say like I knew dad tried and I knew mom tried and I knew all that. So Melissa being in the group, her harmonies are her voice is incredible. And she's Sean's my best friend. My wife is my best friend. My wife, I don't want to do anything without her. Quality time is her love language. And it's like, well, if I'm going to do this, you're going to do it too. She does not like performing. Like she's not a performer. She's got an incredible voice. She's anointed to sing. She loves to sing at church because like that's her, she loves the Lord so much she can't help but sing. Performing is a stretch and she's stretched herself into like doing it with me and she really like at the end of every show loves it so much. She's like that was incredible. Like that was so thrilling. Like it's there's nothing like performing. Like there's nothing like it and she loves it. But it's like coming up with the courage to get back up and get back up and get back up. Where for Sean and I, it's as natural as can be. And it's just we feel at home on a stage. So her being in the group is a great dynamic to the big awesome sounds that are coming out, and then all of a sudden it's sweet and it feels like home, And so I think a lot of people can relate, but a lot of people also need some folks to look up to. They need friendships to be able to say, "Man, I need to find a friend like that," and they need a couple to look at and say, "Okay, they don't act like they have it all together, and they don't have to have it all together, but they literally won't give up and they won't stop trying." So that is that's where the dynamic of the trio is, but Sean and I were talking about the other day is like, I don't know if we want to be just branded as a trio because it is literally like 8 or 9 of us that are like sold out, like drummer sold out, bass player sold out. Bass player was a tour manager for Toby Mac, Need to Breathe, all these different groups. He's more sold out for playing bass on Gale Bird than anything, and it is like the joy of his life right now. And my brother-in-law is a rhythm guitarist by night, but during the day he's the head of a palliative care hospice unit for a large hospital. So he's helping people die and watching like a kind of crazy stuff. But at night, man, that's his out, man. He is like, when are we playing next? This is what I need in my life, like this is the outlet. We got this, incredible jazz pianist that can play any genre, but he's over there on the organ and the keys just doing stuff that people are like, holy, like what in the world? So, this groove, this jive we get into, I don't know if we want to be necessarily branded as the trio because that's how we write, mostly. But when you come and see us, you're like, oh, they're not just a trio. Like that's a show. So that's it's kind of where we're at. And yeah,
Yeah, and
I
we've
know it's
tried
a loaded question.
we've tried branching out too with some other writers, and we've got a friend up in Nashville we write with a good bit. It's been interesting because kind of at the end of the day, Melissa has a few songs she leads, but Joshua leads a lot of the songs, and so a lot of the content and the at least rhythmically and melodically it kind of has to fit his voice. And so there's a lot of stuff that we'll put on the table and we'll kind of start working through and just realize maybe this, this is an exercise. It was great. We worked through it, but it's not one we're going to keep and play. And so it is interesting writing as a group, but knowing that Josh is going to be singing it with a very specific style. And it does put a little bit more weight on him in the writing room as he's bringing a lot more of the content. And Melissa and I would say, are more refining it. That's not always the case, but I think that Josh, he comes up with so many great ideas. As you can tell, he's a great storyteller. And I think that's one of his biggest strengths is not only is that a part of the moments on stage, but it's in the writing. And so for us, I feel like we come alongside him and try to craft the piece well and put the cherry on top.
No, that's awesome. And if I were to deconstruct the weave that Josh, very artfully put together there, the the one thing that I love about a couple of things. So, in like we said, in the years of 2025 of the distractions that, and I'm gonna say this, but like as men, what we have is like looking up to what our fathers and how our fathers were married men, were married, were just fathers and all of that is very different than how we raise our children now, how we interact with them, that the playtime, all of that stuff is very different than it was when we were kids and vice versa. And so what I love about it and how you guys are able to interact is that like discipleness, right? You're a disciple to the others that are around you. You are, a pillar of the family, right? And you're helping other pillars of their family, and you guys are able to then, mix it up, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Super beneficial, and I think that can't be stated enough, especially in a world like today. Like, and the other thing that I wanted to bring out is like I think that marriage had gotten such a bad taste for a lot of men, especially in our age group. And so trying to like shake the scaries off of that for these guys is like a really big thing. Like I was excited to get married. I could not wait to get married to my wife actually 3 years ago. Tomorrow is so tomorrow's my anniversary.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. And I could not wait to get married to her. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. And to try to explain that to other guys, I have two friends of mine that are just like, never gonna happen, man, never gonna. I'm like, you guys don't know true life. Like, you don't know true life till you one get married to somebody that you absolutely adore and love, and then those children come along. It is what life is made for.
Yeah, and there's finally something worth dying to yourself over.
Mhm.
Like you gotta kill all the selfish parts of your body. You're like, oh wait, I gotta wake up at this time, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta change diapers, I gotta do, all these things. And they're like the selfish parts of you have to die, but you look at yourself, you're like, man, sometimes I miss being single, or what would I do with all this time, or whatever it may be. Like, but no, man, I could not imagine life without these people in my life, and they're my crazy people, and they're worth killing every selfish part in my body for over and over and over and over and over again. And like I mean, you just said it on the podcast. It's forever in the airwaves. Is the greatest thing you ever did, and it was the greatest thing. You couldn't wait to do it, was to marry your wife. We're writing and singing songs, backing ourselves into a wall of saying, I'll never leave. I still do. We're writing down all these things that, number one, we have to, like, we're not hypocrites at all. Like, we want to be the most authentic part of ourselves, but we're putting ourselves on blast of like, okay, I'm going to write this down. I got to show up this way. And there ain't no leaving, and so it's quite a lot to be able to back yourself into that, but to say it out loud, and women need to hear it so much, and that's why we're writing these songs, because we're writing them to ourselves to say, like, all right, boy, like when you were the most sober minded, and like you were hearing from God, and you weren't angry, and you weren't sad, you weren't lamenting, you weren't whatever, like when you were the most clear minded and you and Sean were excited to sit down and write a song, what you knew you needed to tell yourself at your lowest or at your worst was to keep telling your wife how much you love her. Don't stop, or don't allow her to agree with the lowly thoughts in her mind that somehow snuck in there. She needs to hear the good stuff and be able to focus on the good stuff 80, 90% of the time, but somehow our flesh, our humanness wants to focus on like the 20% that's like really sucky. But it's like if we keep shouting the good stuff, like all you can hear is the good stuff. But you don't know how many times I ride it in my truck, you know, to the office or to wherever I'm going, to the gym, and I'm playing the song, not because I love to hear myself sing, because I'm talking myself up. Like, I'm all right, dude. Like, this is it. Like, we got to do it. Like, whatever you're carrying, like, they give her a call right before you go in the gym and tell her you're sorry, tell her you love her, and tell her that you can't wait to figure this out, work this out together. Um, because there's nothing worth wasting another day trying to be bitter or, offended by the person that you're supposed to love the most in this world. So, that's kind of where we put it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I especially love the I don't want to say brotherhood of it, because you're bringing everybody into it, right? You're bringing your wives and the girls that need to hear it, and so it's not entirely a brotherhood, but being there for one another, regardless of situation, and helping get to the places you want to be, which, like you said, it ultimately, those experiences and the styles of which individually you approach life and handle life, that's what you're ultimately bringing into the writing room too, right? So, with Josh coming into a write with an idea, and then Sean, I like I grew up, so I'm from New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey, and country music was not a thing here. So everything here was always like rock bands and punk bands, and but you had that connection, right? Like there was never the one person and then the band. It was always a band mentality and a connection, and working off one another. So I really, besides the fact that we don't talk to a lot of groups and you know groups, it's reminds me a lot of what brought me to music in the first place too. So no, I love the idea of having each other to build off of and work off of, whether it's life or music. You're there for each other, and that's, I mean, can't ask for anything better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, talking about songwriting and all that, I feel like this is probably a good time. Let's go ahead and take our break. We'll put on the song we're going to play for you, and then we'll talk about it when we come back. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce the song for us?
Awesome. This song is called Roses, and we hope you enjoy it.
Don't hold your roses till the funeral. Take every chance to tell her she's beautiful. Live every moment so intentional. You never know what the future holds. I could play this song until my fingers bleed, if that's how long it takes for you to see. Tell all the birds how much they should envy me. You turn my life into a melody. We might not be here another day, so why am I holding back the words I long to say? I won't let the moment pass us by. It's meaningless unless I tell you what's inside. Preacher to preacher is all we've got. You know I can't afford to ever stop reminding you how wonderful you are. There's something special within your heart. We might not be here another day, so why am I holding back the words I long to say? I won't let the moment pass us by. It's meaningless unless I tell you what's inside. We might not be here another day, so why am I holding back the words I long to say? I won't let the moment pass us by. It's meaningless unless I tell you what's inside. Unless I tell you what's inside. Unless I tell you what's inside. Don't hold your roses till the funeral.
All right, so let's talk about Roses. First and foremost, we kind of went into the important things in life in that conversation about songwriting and kind of coming together. What was the inspiration behind Roses and ultimately putting it together and getting it out as a single?
Roses was a fun one to write. It was one of the few, like, we don't get this experience often, but it was one of these where we kind of had 90% of it in a day. Usually these songs are, they're on a Apple Note for, months as we're both kind of chipping away at it. But this was one we did a write, and we were both in Josh's office, and we kind of had this idea of wanting to write about, we don't want to hold things that we would want to say to somebody until it's too late. That's kind of just the gist of it. And had this idea that we had heard before of, don't want to hold your roses until the funeral. And just kind of playing, noodling around on the guitar, looking for the right feel, looking for the right idea. And then the kind of that intro hook started coming around, and just feel like that was really a special write. And we wrote that over a year ago. And not only has it been really meaningful to us, just reminding us of how important it is to be saying kind things to our wives, but then also friendships. Like I think about it often now. Whenever someone comes to mind, if they're a good friend or my parents, like, I give them a call very quickly, just because I think about, I don't want to wait. I don't want to regret that. But anyway, yeah. So it was one of the songs that was on the top of the list of ones that we could potentially use as a single. But it's difficult when working in this industry, and obviously we're trying to make money doing it. And so, being a band that's relatively unheard of, there's precedence to songs that are going to make certain playlists and be a certain vibe, and more upbeat, more exciting. And so, as beautiful and as meaningful as we felt like this song was, it wasn't the one that the label was ready to just pull the trigger on right away. Totally get it. Totally understand. And so we kind of sat on it for a while. And then a month or two ago, when all the craziness was happening with all the shootings and just kind of a lot of turmoil, we just talked with the label, and it just kind of felt like it was a season for maybe at least our audience, if not a lot, broader audience, that maybe it's something that people could benefit from. It was a good reminder, encouraging. And so they agreed to let us produce it. And originally it was just going to be acoustic guitar and Josh singing. And I wasn't satisfied with that. So we pushed it a little bit. It still is acoustic-ish, but we gave it a little spice. So yeah, that's where Roses came from.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, from a production side, you guys nailed it. I mean, and it's like, it's such a heartfelt song with a strong, strong meaning behind it, strong lyrics. And so not overproducing, right? Not like throwing a ton of instruments at it to cloud that. Super smart move. And yeah, I mean, I love the strip down, allowing Josh, your voice to just kind of pierce through, let the message be heard, without, yeah, oversaturating it with a ton of music and instruments and stuff.
Yeah, thank you. No, the vocal recording day when we were in the studio with Josh, getting that take, man, when he hits that falsetto note in the chorus with just that little bit of, just not angst, but the vibrato, just, it says something. Oh man, yeah, that was a fun day.
Yeah, so I always talk on the lyric side of things, the messages, Brian always handles the production side. I always handle the emotion side of it, I guess. Yeah, the first time I heard this song, one of my biggest issues, and I know it's an issue of mine, and I know I suck at it, but I do not keep in touch at all. I can go months to years. There's friends that if I call today, it's been a year or two since I've talked to them. But the good thing is, we kind of pick up where we left off. But that's not really a good thing. And I know that I need to be more present and accountable, I guess, for another way to look at that too. And this literally made me do this. I called like three people that day and caught up with them. And yeah, I mean, say it all before it's too late, right? That's um, yeah, I mean, we all could use a little reminder of that every so often. So, especially like you said, in today's climate with everything going on, and it couldn't be any more perfect of a time. Maybe for whatever reason you had to sit on it for a year, but it feels like this is when it was meant to be in the world. And yeah, I mean, I could say all the same things about the song and the production of it. It's phenomenal. I really, really, really like the song.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think as men, we love to like compartmentalize stuff. And that's why I think men are great, like I never care when like literally somebody calls me out of the blue and or messages me because number one, I always assume they're just living life at capacity. Like, man, we didn't know how hard it was going to be having kids. We didn't know how hard it was going to be having kids and a wife and a job and a mortgage and a this and parents that got sick and this and this and this. I think part of growing up as a man, you realize, I don't know, hopefully, I don't know, not hopefully. I learned really quickly. I had a very my wife's. We got married and then she got pregnant, and the birth of our first daughter was like extremely traumatic. It was an emergency C-section. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. In that moment, as a husband, like in charge of taking care of my wife, I realized I had zero control over anything. Like I don't like I'm a bigger dude. I can bench press a lot of weight. It means nothing. Like it means nothing. Like, sickness, death, your child, like all these things, and you realize how fragile a child is. And then you're like, and they get sick, and then and my daughter got sick a year later, couldn't do anything about it. Realized I had zero control. Number one, I had to rely on God for everything. And I'm like, all right, God, I get it. I get it. I'm a child. I get it. Like I need you. I rely on you. But the part of roses, where we've somehow our defense is to compartmentalize. It's like, well, this can't touch this part of my life and that can't touch that part of my life because I got to keep focused on work to keep work the main thing, the main thing. But then when I get home, I need to try to keep my family and my wife the main thing and work. You're not allowed to come over here and this and this and this and this. And we're focused on so hard on like trying to control again how things are going to go, the outcome of everything that we forget in the process that the biggest thing we could do is just use our words to build up and to love our friends, our coworkers, our children. I mean, everything. The more my children get older, my daughter's 11. My words mean everything to her in a crazy, insane world when she goes to school and hears all these terrible things, or somebody said this that really hurt her a lot, or whatever it may be. My words that are the ones that I hope that she believes and hears the loudest and the most mean everything, and they cancel out every other stupid lie that she's ever heard. My wife is the same way. You know, she's in her head about being a stay-at-home mom. She's in her head about her worth, her value, her all these different things. If my voice is not the loudest and the most prominent, not even like loud volume wise, but just the one that just echoes the most, all of a sudden they begin to cancel out all those other things that they hear. But if I'm not echoing the most and being the most prominent and the loudest and saying it the most, then they start to agree with those other things that they hear. Then they start to, their identity forms around certain things. And it's like, no, I think our role as the husband, the man, whatever it may be, is to know that the strongest muscle we have is the tongue, is the thing that forms the words that come out of our mouth. And Sean and I realized, like, right when we're writing this song, my neighbor's wife died, and her name was Sarah, and she had a long, hard battle with cancer, and she literally starved to death because she couldn't keep food down. She became really skinny. She's about my height, 6'2", and just became skinny as can be. And she came over. She texted me one morning, Josh, had a dream. You were in the dream, and your name was on the wall. And I knew I woke up. I needed to just come talk to you and pray with you. Can I come over? I'm like, absolutely. You know, my wife stays home. She came in. Sarah, what's going on? I'm so hungry. I'm so tired. I just need y'all to pray for me. And my wife just sat there and held her. And we prayed for her and we just loved on her. We encouraged her, everything. But she knew she could get all that from us because she had heard so many things. You're such a great mom, Sarah. Those kids love you so much, Sarah. Sarah, you're just so wonderful. You're just the greatest. Sarah, your heart, you're this, you're that. All she ever heard from us was how incredible she was, but she felt terrible as a mom. She said, I'm ruining my kids' lives. They're having the worst childhood in the world because I'm so sick. And I'm angry all the time because I'm so hungry and I'm so tired. No, Sarah. They think you're the greatest mom in the world, Sarah. You know, all the things. And so Sarah knew she could come here. And like a couple days later, Sarah died. And I was just devastated. I'm like, holy crap, if that was my wife, I don't know what I would do. My kid's life would be ruined. Like like they can't just rely on just me. Like they, you know, all these I had all these thoughts and things running through my head of life without my wife. And it was the worst thing I could ever think of. It literally hell on earth. But yet my buddy Sean is a different Sean, my neighbor, also my chiropractor, is walking through hell. And, you know, he had shared some stuff with me, you know, just how difficult, but also at the same time, he don't want to share everything because it's the darkest thing you could think of. But we are not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not in control of anything. You're not in control of your parents getting sick. You're not in control of the person driving the car in front of you. You're not in control of anything. But the last thing that somebody heard from you was the most important thing. That's the last thing they'll remember. That's the last thing that they'll, you know, first they say people say first impressions are the most important thing. No. I think the last thing you said was the most important thing. And that's why we got to get over our crap. Like we got to get out of compartmentalizing everything and just learn to just love on everybody um and use our words extremely well and learn how to control this muscle. Nobody knows how to control this muscle. I think I've met some of the strongest men in the world, you know, they can't control this freaking thing on their in their mouth. And I'm like, man, you have no self-control, no discipline, no nothing. Yeah, you got, you know, all these things, but this is the most important thing that I think if everybody understood that, we'd be in a much better place in this world. And all that came into this song, all that to say, like, get it out, like say the incredible things. And if you know, I think back to Bambi, and it's like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. No, if you don't have any nice to say, figure out where the heck that thought came from in the first place that you're so offended and upset about. Kill it, and then go say something incredible. Disarm everybody by saying something incredibly kind and wonderful, and figure out, you know, what's triggered you and all that stuff. But no, like we just you know, we have these euphemisms, you know, and all these sayings that I don't know if you guys have a lot of sayings in New Jersey in the South. We have so many sayings. Bless your heart does not mean I hope God gives you something wonderful. It means I think you're an idiot. You know, that's a stupid, you know, or poor thing. Why am I calling somebody poor? Or speak of the devil. Like, why am I calling somebody the devil? We have the stupidest sayings. And so I think with words and writing music, like, let's just reclaim and write some really good ones, you know, and what the heaven instead of what the hell, you know, just like we can reclaim some good stuff that we pass on to our children that, you know, gives like the optimism in the other direction. And I think that's a lot of what we're doing. We're trying to fill the airwaves with some really incredible positive stuff because there is so much crap out there existing now.
Yeah, I like that. And you know, I've come as, you know, a husband now, a father now. My musical choices and the things I listen to are very different and you know, a little bit more like affirming, I guess. I know Jordan Davis has that a couple of songs that are, you know, talking about like wearing a ring on your hand, some of the best things, like, the first thing or first time you were called dad, like how that like shattered your world, like all those things. Like how cool of a song is that? Versus the same old drinking song, leaving song, broken heart song. Like we get it, it's happens, but like, you know, sometimes it's kind of nice as like married men to be in a car with your full family, hearing nice family, like, like I really love my wife's song, like that type of thing, man. And so no, I dig it, and I'm right with you. And I remember, first turning on your guys' stuff, I was like, I paused it instantly, and I was like, Ronnie, these guys are great. Like, this is awesome. Like, this is gonna be a really good one.
Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I think I'm not saying we're not allowed to lament and to like be upset in our emotions for a minute, but man, we can't stay there. Like it's like because I will stay there for a while, and then Sean will, sometimes even at the gym, I'll stay there and lament for a minute. He's like, "Can we just play? Can we go play soccer now?" And that's usually our saying every morning. I just want to play
Yep.
soccer. So after we lift weights, we have an indoor soccer gym at this place where we go, and so if hit a ball really hard, it's not going anywhere. I don't have to shag it. It's got the nets everywhere. But we've come up with some really fun games that we do for like half an hour that like get the competitive juices going, get the cardio going, all that kind of stuff. And but we won't let each other lament for too long. Like we will for like a minute, just about whatever is bothering us. But then it's like, all right, I want to play soccer, which means just like, all right, we're like,
We're
I'm
done. We're
done.
done.
We're done lamenting for a minute. So not saying don't lament, but we can't stay there because I think that is also like something in our nature is like we want to stay there in our stuff. And I think we all grew up with that music, that lamenting, like whether it was emo or whether it was hardcore, like whatever it was, we were always lamenting like life was the worst ever, and it was like that girl and just all the things. um I think we're just at a place maybe now where we just gotta, at the age we're like, no, we get to lament for a minute and then get up and go be what you need to be and show up. And so that's what we're trying to figure out too.
Yeah.
I still write those songs. I just don't show them to Josh.
Like,
Well, you need to get them out.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, and I've said this many times on this podcast. I am a Vince Gill like fan. Trust me. Like I could live in the melancholy and be totally cool with that. But what I do like, what you guys keep saying, is like that morning gym sesh. I don't know if you guys know who DJ Shipley is. Uh, former Do yourself a favor, just look up DJ Shipley. That's all you need to look up. He will change your mind in every way. The Sean Ryan show, DJ Shipley will change who you are as a human. But he is
I know
former,
Sean Ryan. I didn't know DJ Shipley.
yeah, so he's former Navy SEAL. And but his whole thing is about he does these like 20-minute walks, like 20-minute walk in the morning to just kind of like express what you need to, and then he talks about it with his wife at the end of the day. They go out, or once they have dinner, they do a 20-minute walk, 10 minutes one way, 10 minutes back. 10 minutes is his, 10 minutes is his wife's, as they talk back, and that's how they're able to just like recenter themselves and everything. Which reminds me of a lot of how you guys are able to just like get it out. All right, we're done. Like, let's lift some weights. Let's do this. Let's kick the ball. Let's do what we need to do. But yeah, I mean, it's that part of like how we evolve as men and how we evolve as like getting all that bad stuff out in the morning, work it out, whether it's vocally or lifting really heavy things and putting them down, like that exact thing. Like that's how you clear your mind. That's how you become the best husband, and clear your mind for the artistic, for the getting those songs out, and we're not holding on to the anger anymore, right? That shit get left on the rack and that's done, So that's what I like, man.
That's it. That's what we've got down
Yeah, and
kind of
I don't think
in
I
a
could.
rhythm.
I don't think I could do it alone either. I think having someone else that's equal minded of like we're wanting to do this together. I've got a handful of friends in my life that I have to rely on. So that's a huge part of it for me. I'd be isolated so quick if I needed to or felt like I wanted to. So having these guys is so helpful.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is mentioning the emo and the hardcore, and I still very much live in those worlds, but it's self-isolating, it's lonely in there sometimes, and I'm the first to admit I have a hard time reaching out sometimes, and I could find myself in those moments for a long time, and it's the fact that you can say, I have Josh, I have Sean, I have my guys, I have my that's so important. And in the last 10 years, I mean, Brian's become that for me. Like, not to get all sappy or whatever, but I could honestly say in the last 10 years, my life is better because of Brian. And it's because of those things, because I know that if I need to call him, he's going to answer. I know that if I need to say something, and then we're both soccer players in our early lives too. So, it's so important to have those people to rely on too. And yeah, I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's our wives, our kids, or our friends, we're it's hard to be the Brian, you said it before, the pillar of the family, right? To be the strong one all the time. So having that support system is so huge. And yeah, I mean, to relate it back to roses, right? It's um again, not to be sappy, but Brian, I don't tell you enough that, the things you've done for me over the years, but that's the important stuff that we need to talk about. And there's such a negativity to men having those conversations, right? There's such a like, oh no, don't, you need to be tougher than that. You need to be, but no, it's all stupid. We need this, right?
We do.
Hmm.
We do. I used to tell myself for a long time before you and Sean and I got back together to play music, I don't need much. Put me in a closet, give me a computer. I'll work all day, 40 hours a week. Go home, love my family. I don't really need anything. And yeah, I could, but that wasn't living. That's not experiencing life to the fullest. That's not any of those things. It would be really tragic to try to do it by myself. But I did for quite a bit, and I think some of that treat others how you want to be treated. I'm thinking, well, if I want to be treated really well, I got to go out and treat others really well, and or I think there's another thing I follow, which is love your wife as yourself. Well, man, I think a lot of us are really really bad at loving ourselves, and treating ourselves pretty well, and like letting ourselves talk about certain things or just do it for whatever reason. Like we call it humility, we call it selflessness, but really it's robbing our wife or robbing our friends from knowing who we really are, because we try to like put it down so that we can act like this. We're selfless and we want to serve everybody else, but we don't let anybody get to really know us, and that's kind of tragic. Like, man, I like that guy. I never really got to know him very well, but I liked him. He was a pretty good guy. No, nobody got to know him very well because he didn't let anybody know him very well, and that's really tragic. And so I think that's something we're also trying to eliminate is like, man, let somebody know you well, like be vulnerable, like and maybe you might discover something that could impact your life or save somebody else a lot of heartache. And I think that's one thing we work on too is like, don't like I'm looking at my son, do not make the same mistakes I made. Like, please don't. Like, if you feel this way, you hear something, like, please come. Like, I take each kid, I've got four, take each one on a trip every year. All right, this weekend is June's weekend. This weekend is Luke's weekend. This one's Anna's weekend. This and Bethany's one. She hadn't gotten, she just needs her mom. That's all right. Um, and I say these things to them. Hey, listen, I love you more than anything. Like you are, like June, you made me a dad. I will be forever grateful. You are the most incredible help around the house, all these things. But listen, I need you to understand this. If you hear something, see something, witness something, whatever it may be, even you said something wrong, you hurt, whatever may have, you got in trouble, you did something, you had poor judgment. I don't care. Tell me. I will come have your back. I will stand in front of you and take every arrow that comes your way. Even if I know you're wrong, I don't care. I'll tell every administrator, I'll tell every person, like, you be quiet. That's my daughter. All the things. I will go down with you swinging, but you got to tell me.
Mhm.
Like, you got to tell me. And then we can talk through it. There's nothing you could never not tell me, all the things. So, you know, being able to have those moments, those conversations builds that trust with the child, all that kind of stuff. And then when they do trust you, when you do tell them the things that how you feel about them, they don't just think you're trying to flatter them or the they don't just not hear it because the other parts, the lowly thoughts are louder. They really trust, what you're saying because they know that you've got their best interest in mind, that you've got their back. And so I think that's, something else we try to focus on and figure out. Um, and again, we're pioneering. Like nobody's had to do it. Nobody's had to come up against Instagram, which the rise of Instagram and the rise of suicide and youth, those are the only two correlations that happened from 2010 until 2025 that grew on a trajectory up and up and up, because children were never meant to have this device in their hands, So we're trying to figure out something, and what the heck is it going to look like for our kids that are 3 now, and eventually, like, what the heck is that going to look like? Um,
Yeah.
so we gotta talk about this stuff out loud so we can figure out what the heck we're going to do when we get there.
I think the one thing, and just to tell you onto that, because we're just going to go down this rabbit hole. The way that I thought about it, and I heard it on a podcast, I don't know what it is, but the understanding of having, like, when we were kids, you had like the kitchen phone, and that was like the only way that you had to, like, call your friend or whatever, call a girl or anything. You want to do anything, you had the kitchen phone. And I think that's like kind of how we're going to just structure it, right? There'll be a phone, an iPhone or whatever, but it is going to be super glued, nailed, whatever it needs to be at that kitchen table. You want to go on it? Right there is where you can go on it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it's going to be. Yeah, the unlimitedness, and and I told you guys, at the break what my job is, and the things that I can see, and the the evils of this world are so unbelievable, like present in everything. Um, and yeah, I mean, I have a 5-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl and another on the way, and it scares the shit out of me. And so the best we could do as dads is to just surround them with love, surround them with understanding, and man, yeah, protection. Yeah, we lift weights for protection, right? Like,
Yeah,
there
no,
is
100%. I've got 3 daughters and one boy. That's what they always say. I gotta with one boy, you gotta worry about, girls coming around. With 3 girls, you gotta worry about every boy in the world. But so witnessing some of the things so in law enforcement,
Mhm.
um, highest suicide rate is first responders is firefighters because their identity is wrapped up in who they are as a hero. These kids dreamed of being a firefighter when they got older. They got older, they had a bad day, but their identity was wrapped up in their career.
Yeah.
Second highest, I think EMT and police are like right there, second tied to firefighter, because there are things you cannot unsee. So
Mhm.
what I know you're hearing things in your line of work and everything. You're hearing things, seeing things, some things that shake you. Would you say that's what it is, like shakes you to your core?
Yeah, for
How,
sure.
how
There,
do you some things you don't tell your wife because you don't want to like freak her out, or
right.
like
Oh,
how
100.
does that world happen?
100%. A lot of things are children oriented. Those are definitely things that my wife doesn't hear about. She hears that I had a rough day at work. That's it. I have friends like Ronnie. I have one of my best friends, brother to me, is in law enforcement. He's a police officer. So I'm able to talk completely open with him. I mean, he's seen some of the worst stuff eye to eye. And there's nothing that I see that could compare to what he actually has to deal with on a nightly basis. And so having that open communication is one thing. Yes, there is a way of not being able to unsee things. Luckily, the way that I have to see them is through the barricade of a computer screen, right? I'm not in force. I don't smell it. I don't like any of that stuff. Like, all the other senses are shut off. My only senses is seeing and hearing. And yeah, I mean, definitely a couple. There's a couple that like can just pop in my brain right now. Like, and so I'm lucky enough and maybe unlucky enough that I've only been doing this for a couple of years, so it hasn't really dug too deep into me. But I can say that what I'm doing now has a reward that I feel like if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I enjoy the fact that I can save, help, do whatever I can for these families. Not saying that somebody else couldn't do it. I'm glad that I'm the one that is there. I don't know how, I don't know if that sounds right or anything, but yeah, we get our success stories back and stuff like that. And you're like, hell yeah. Like, yes, I'm glad that that dude's going to be in jail for the rest of his life without anything. Like, consecutive life, sentences. Hell yeah. Like that type of thing. That's what puts you to bed at night. I mean, really.
Yeah. Wow. That's huge. I think that's why they probably call the, law enforcement a brotherhood is you gotta experience the evil and confront the evil in the world. For Sean and I, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Mhm.
We don't have to confront it every day. My brother-in-law, his thing, every Monday morning, he says, "Who died over the weekend?" And he sees every patient that died. The death is a big part of his thing. For you, it's like, I got to go confront the evil of the world and the lowest of the low and the most mentally sick people. I mean, they're just sick,
Yep.
you know? Um, and so that, being able to talk to somebody about that stuff is huge so that it doesn't stay bottled up, and become hard-hearted, hard towards humanity because it's just disgusting.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
is
there was definitely times, like I said, I mean, I used to work in New York and I was completely blinded by it, right? Naive, like didn't know what was going on around me. Like I went in with horse blinders into my job, out of the city. That's all I did. It wasn't until I started at the job that I'm at now where you just kind of see how quickly things can pop off and like how dangerous anything can be at any time. Now, that doesn't mean that you go through life completely shielded, like I'm not going to go anywhere type of thing. It's just like you have a little bit more like the blinders are open, the antennas are up. You kind of notice things and everything. And that in as a whole, like just helps you as a husband and as a father to be like, you know what, kids, we're just going to cross the street. Why do we got to cross the street? Because we're just going to cross the street. That's it.
yes, yes, and that's I think that's in me too. I have the zero trust. I'm suspicious of like not just suspicious in a weird way. I can't relax, but man, my eyes are peeled. 20. I just got back from family vacation. We're in Pigeon Forge, which is like the Myrtle Beach of the mountains, with like just people everywhere. A couple months ago, somebody drove their car through there, hit a bunch of people. But I'm just looking at just everybody and everything like, this is, and, people just letting their kids kind of wander off. And I'm like, there's a child right next to me. And like, where's your dad? And it is just, it's pretty crazy. But, no, it just makes you walk around with a different mentality, knowing that there's just it's so much evil in the world, which is another reason why like we got to offset that crap with some extreme good, which is I think why you're getting so much fulfillment and like you know purpose in what you're doing is like you're countering all the crap, and then yeah, that's awesome.
I dig it.
Yeah, yeah.
Get a
Um,
job, Sean. Golly.
yeah. Well, I guess we are talking music, which is your job, right? So, to kind of bring it back to music a little bit. So, this year, three singles, I believe, in the year 2025, and as 2025 comes to an end here, what does the next couple months, what does the future look like for you guys?
Well, we're excited. We're right now kind of going to be resting for a couple months, just enjoying the holidays with family. And we're starting to try to look ahead and see what 2026 looks like. Got a couple dates on the calendar for some shows already. And we're hoping to really hit it hard. We've got some big dreams and would love to, just keep pushing this forward. We're going to be writing. We're not just resting for 2 months. We'll keep hanging out and doing our gym sessions. But yeah, I think we're just going to get rested up and try to hit next year really hard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where do the listeners want to go to follow you guys on this journey?
Yeah, all the social media channels are at Gale Bird Music, GaleBird Music. But if you can't remember that, galebird.com gets you all the social links, all the links to every streaming platform, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all that kind of stuff, just to keep up with us there. Got a merch store with some pretty great merch. So if you ever want to support, give gratuity to an artist, Buying merch is the biggest thing you can do. Streaming does not make very much money at all. That buying that merch does help an artist tremendously. It helps us spread the word. I think we've designed some really cool merch. It's worth a look on there. And it's also at galebird.com. But yeah, Instagram, we're most active there, Facebook and Instagram. And I don't know, I guess that's the generation we're in. I'm still like, have a hard time getting over to TikTok, have a hard time getting on different stuff. And so, yeah, it was a challenge to get me to Instagram for a minute. And then I got there and, it's like, man, I'm a creature of habit. Like, quit giving me new platforms to go to.
Instagram is just so good. You're just like, this is cool. Like, just keep it. It's cool. Like,
Yes.
different like dancing shit. Like, this is cool.
Yeah. No, Ronnie said he's in a weird algorithm though. He don't know how he got there.
Yeah, it's questionable. There, there's some things I don't know, but yeah, I totally. As soon as I figured out Instagram, TikTok became a thing, and I gave it literally 3 days, and I couldn't do it. I. The good thing is at least they're linked, so when I post on Instagram, it does go to TikTok, but I've got zero. The trends, yeah, and those algorithms, I definitely don't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, I mean, Josh, Sean, it's been a pleasure getting a chat with you. And we're very excited for the future of what you guys are doing. I mean, if Roses and the conversation that started and brought here tonight and to other folks as they become familiar with it, if that's any indication of what you guys are going to be doing, for the world, like you said earlier, Josh, even if nobody listens to it but your kids, that's the most important people to move forward and make the world a better place, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we're so excited to see what comes down the line for you guys, and yeah, can't wait for new music, and hopefully that rest ain't too long for us.
Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate you
Thank
having
y'all.
us on, and hopefully we'll be up in your neck of the woods at some point, and be able to put a performance on for y'all up there.
All right, so that was our interview with Josh and Sean of Gale Bird, and yeah, I mean, you said before going into it not to spoil anything, and I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as we did, because we talk about interviews, we talk about artists well after we talk to them and have them on the show. We've definitely talked more about them, and I have a feeling, we could be on 512, and we're still going to be talking about this interview. So, yeah, I mean, said it up front. It's a great interview.
No, I mean, there's definitely there was a connection I felt with those guys through that entire communication that we were having, that entire conversation. It was easy to talk to. I mean, we were just like, it was just like opening up, man. I mean, I've never talked about my personal job or anything like that on anything else. And, to speak of the things that I do and was really, opening for me. And then it's always just, I don't know, man, I think the world needs a lot more of that, right? A lot more of like just positive reinforcement of relationship, of marriage, of like, being a good man and like supporting other men in your life and things like that. I mean, nothing but just like positive messaging that entire time. So yeah, it was one, if not the most engaging, favorite conversations I've had doing this podcast.
Yeah, and you kind of said it there with the we just met them, right? That was the first time we both got on the Zoom and said hi for the first time. And, there was a level of like opening up and honesty, and, they project such a positive, like, I really hate that I'm going to say it, but like a quote unquote, like safe space kind of mentality that like, we literally talked about everything, and like things that you wouldn't necessarily expect to talk about on a country music podcast, but and I wasn't kidding that the need for something like that, a podcast like that of when you think of like podcasts like for and by men, like um we've come a long way, but we still think of like the Adam Carolla, Jimmy Kimmel, like man show days, right? Like the comedy, which is all good and fine, but um yeah, there's something missing in that sense, and I mean, I think they should do it.
Yeah.
They're two great guys to do that with. Yeah.
No, it was awesome. And, their music is so good. I mean, it's been on my playlist on repeat since we did this interview. And it's so, I don't know. I mean, it might not be for everybody. It's for me. I mean, I'm a married man, and it just, the way that it I don't know, embodies the type of feelings that I have, like towards my wife, towards my relationships, that type of thing. It's just great music, man. And it's my kind of vibe. I love that like acoustic driven kind of rock sound. So cool. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to thank Josh and Sean for coming on Outside the Circle. Be sure you go follow them on all their social media and music listening platforms. We'll leave you today with another track from Gale Bird, Looky Here.
I'm flying high above the sky, never coming down, never coming down. Looky here, look at what I found, standing right in front of me in our little hometown. Looky here, look at what I found, first time in my life and I'm floating off the ground. I'm flying high above the sky, dancing on a cloud over the moon. Oh, what a view, never coming down. Oh, 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 never coming down. Oh, 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 never coming down. Looky here, look at what I found, everything I promised I'd write home about. Looky here, look at what I found, no longer in control, but I'm safe and I'm sound. I'm flying high above the sky, dancing on a cloud over the moon. Oh, what a view, never coming down. Oh, 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 never coming down. Oh, 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 never coming down. Is this a dream you here with me? Too good to be true. Too good to be true. Too good to be true. I'm flying high above the sky, dancing on a cloud over the moon. Oh, what a view, never coming down. I'm flying high above the sky, dancing on a cloud over the moon. Oh, what a view, never coming down, never coming down.
Outside the Circle podcast features music used with full permission from the original artist and or their authorized representatives. All songs are included for promotional and discussion purposes only, with no commercial redistribution or authorized duplication intended. Outside the Circle podcast supports independent artists and complies with all copyright and music listening requirements.